Well, why add speech to text? Greatly speed up your document turnaround time. And I will say, and this is great timing, I had a call yesterday with an attorney who's part of a large law firm that is doing a SpeechLive trial with speech to text. And we had a conversation because he had a few questions. And ultimately, he said something that really hit home with me. And what he said was, my turnaround time on my documents used to be next day. Now I'm getting them back in an hour, which I think is an extremely powerful statement when it comes to decreasing turnaround time and making you more efficient. You can dictate into any application where you would type outside of SpeechLive. So as well as the fact that you can leverage speech to text within your SpeechLive workflow between yourself and your assistants, you also have the ability through some little desktop applications to be able to dictate anywhere you can put your cursor. So that means you could save a buttload of time if you were dictating all of your emails. Let's say you saved, just ballpark, an hour a day dictating emails, 5 hours a week. Look at that as far as how much value and return on investment. It's pretty easy to do the math. You can use the AI features to create summaries and quick notes. So, you can do your dictation, you can get your first draft of text, but let's say you had a meeting with, a number of people and you wanted just a summary of the meeting. I don't need what was said by every person. I just want to know what came out of this meeting, what are the quick notes, what are the next steps, in case I want to maybe provide that to somebody who was not privy to the meeting to update them on kind of the goings on. Multi-speaker. So our Microsoft Engine integration, we have a close relationship with Microsoft, provides a multi-speaker transcript up to 10 users. So who said what exactly and at what time. So it's a time-stamped transcript. Now, I've been here, I hate to say it, 30 years. And if I had $1 for every time somebody called me and said, I have to do the minutes of the meeting, and it takes me so much time. Can speech recognition do that for me? And the answer was always no, right? Because it was always a speaker-dependent engine, which meant one speaker, one audio file. Now, the answer is absolutely. You have up to 10 speakers. You can get a transcript of what every person said. You can use speech recognition not only when you're sitting at your computer, but you can also use it on your smartphone, which enables you to leverage that technology while you are mobile, while you are on the go. So a great opportunity and offers so much flexibility. So within the mobile app, you have the ability to have real-time speech recognition. So I can start a new dictation, and many of you are using the mobile app, so I can start a new dictation, and I can actually dictate and watch the text come up and see a first draft before I send it to my assistant. So when I send it, my assistant is going to get a first draft of text along with the original audio, so they don't have to guess, is that what he or she meant to say? They can listen to the original audio and go, yep, that is exactly it. I'm going to format, I'm going to edit, which, is the answer for why this particular lawyer's turnaround time went from, next day to 1 hour. And then real time is available for speech recognition in the app using the Microsoft engine, but not the Dragon engine. And I'll get into the two engines that we integrate. So we integrate the Microsoft engine, which offers the multi-speaker, which offers the AI features, but we also have an integration with Dragon. This is the cloud version of Dragon. So this is Dragon Professional Anywhere, Dragon Legal Anywhere, and Dragon Law Enforcement. So if any of you that are in law enforcement, there is a Dragon version that supports a law enforcement vocabulary. So I can use either of these applications, not only back end, so I can send it to the Dragon engine or send it to the Microsoft engine on the back end, but I also have the ability, as I mentioned, to dictate into any application. So this is the little desktop application that I would use with the Microsoft engine. And for some of you, you may be familiar with this because if you're using a digital recorder to upload to SpeechLive, this is the little application you use. But you see, it has not just the upload icon, but it's also a microphone that allows you to dictate anywhere you would type, right? So like I mentioned, your emails, into templates, into Teams, anywhere that you want to dictate. And then, of course, you have the Dragon bar. And if anybody's used Dragon, you understand that there are some features with Dragon that are, specific to Dragon. Things like scratch that, underline that, bold that, next field, all of those kinds of things that you can customize to command your editing and formatting using your voice. Okay, and trust me, I will get to that. So I've pretty much gone over all of that. I do want to say that if you have a SpeechLive account, which most of you do, there is the option to reach out to your reseller partner to have them give you a Dragon trial. It's a 2-week trial to enable you to try Dragon within your SpeechLive account. Anybody who wants to try the SpeechLive speech-to-text engine, everybody has right now 200 free minutes per user available in your account. So if you haven't had a chance to try it, absolutely give it a shot. It's a fantastic opportunity to play with it and see where the benefits lie for you specifically. So integrated speech recognition. So these are the AI features, and I'm going to show these in the demo. But as you can see, I have the option to create a smart transcript, which basically takes an audio file and puts in commas and periods and all those kinds of things if the author doesn't say them when they dictate. You have advanced insights. So give me kind of a summary of this meeting recording, let's say, and what's the outcome? What tasks are there, what follow-up is needed, and so on. I can have a basic summary, so just give me a summary of what went down, or I can have a multi-speaker transcript. So I've added the next slide, and I don't like to get too much into this slide, but you will get it. So you don't need to worry about, whether I go through it all or not, but just real quick, you can see languages. The SpeechLive speech recognition supports 18 languages. The nuance integration is English only. With the mobile app, it's back end only, so I can only send it to the engine on the server. I don't get to see the text come up with Dragon, but I do with the Microsoft, and so on and so forth. Multi-speaker and AI features are specific only to the SpeechLive speech recognition. And again, I'm going to tell you, if you want to look at speech recognition, reach out to your Philips reseller or Matterai and have a conversation. Let's understand what you're looking to achieve, and we can help you to pick the right engine. I don't want to complicate things for you at all, but we can absolutely help you make sure that you're getting the product that's going to do the things that you need to do. So now I'm going to get into a quick demo. So I'm going to start with the smartphone app. Whoop, I didn't mean to make you dizzy. There's my smartphone app. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Now I have multiple accounts. And I have facial recognition enabled. You may or may not. It's optional. And I'm going to sign in to this account. Now you won't have to do all that. You only have one account. So let me get rid of this. Okay, so I am now logged in. And one thing I want to show you is if you haven't had a chance to try speech recognition application, I want you to go to the little cog wheel and make sure that enable speech recognition features on this device is enabled. If it's grayed out, please go to your partner and they have to enable speech recognition in your account, but it should be enabled by default. So you just have to go make sure that that's on. Now you'll notice that if you haven't been using speech recognition, you're using this little blue microphone here. But I also have this cool little speech bubble, and that is what's going to enable me to dictate and watch the text come up in front of me. So I'm going to go ahead and create a dictation. And as you know, you can add a title. So we'll call this Demo 577. And of course, you have your properties. So I can go in and I can put in, say, a matter number, a client number, a patient number. I can change the priority. I can pick a work type and a due date and all those fun things. But I'm going to go ahead and start to dictate. Good afternoon, comma new paragraph. Please find attached the latest version of the agreement, period, new paragraph. All changes have been incorporated as per our meeting with the client yesterday, period, new paragraph. If there are no other further changes required, comma, I will have Judy send it to the client tomorrow, period, new paragraph, regards, comma, new line, signature. Okay, so there's my dictation. I can see it on my phone, and you'll see that I pretty much got 100% accuracy, which is awesome. Now, if I'm dictating and I say a word, like maybe it's somebody's last name or something that's not part of the general vocabulary, and I want to make sure I add it so that next time it recognizes it, I just go down to this little ABC icon, and then I just type in the word and hit enter. And now it's added to my vocabulary. So super easy to add vocabulary on the fly. Okay, now I also want to show you there are specific commands to do specific things. And I'm going to go back to this lawyer that I talked to yesterday because he said it's not going to the next paragraph. And he was saying next paragraph, but the command is new paragraph. Okay, he also was saying bullet and he needed to say bullet point. So here in this little area, if I expand this, I can see all of my custom voice commands. So you'll notice when I dictated, my signature is Caroline Cantillon, boss of anything or everything, anything and everything, which I like to feel, kind of fits my role. And then I've got a quickie statement here for closing statement and my standard greeting. So if I was to dictate and I happen to say standard greeting, it's going to pop in blah, 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 blah. And if I say standard closing, it's going to pop in blah, 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 whatever I have in there as a text replacement. So here's my first draft of text. Now, if I want to change something, I can just click anywhere in here and I'll get my keyboard and I can just make some changes. But you know what? I'm going to send this to my assistant. They're going to have the original audio. And it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to hit the send, which is, this icon right here. And I happen to have a lot of people that I keep busy because I talk a lot, but I'm going to send it to my default team. Okay, so now you see, if I go to my sent, there it is. Demo 577, high priority, went to my default team at 2:18 p.m. and it has a first draft of text. So it is waiting for correction by my assistant. Okay, now if I don't want to see the text come up in front of me, I can use the backend option. So I'm going to create just an audio file. Good afternoon, comma new paragraph. Thanks so much for joining me today, period. I hope that once you see how these new features function, you will understand how much more efficient you can be. Period, new paragraph, regards, comma new line, Caroline. Now, you'll notice that I say period, comma new line. I don't have to because we do have the smart transcript capability, but it just does help with formatting. So I've created my audio file. It's all good to go. Again, okay, I'm going to hit my forwarding and I have two choices. I can send it to my typist. So for instance, if I want my typist to send it through the AI features, I'm just going to send it as an audio file. I also have the option to say, you know what, I just send it through the speech recognition engine on the server. I want a blow-by-blow of everything I said, a direct transcript of what I said as a first draft from my assistant. So I'm going to say, send it to speech recognition. Now here is a little bit of magic. So I choose my language and just being clear, it doesn't translate. So if I dictate it in English and I choose French, my recognition is going to be really bad. So I'm choosing English, and here I have the option to say, if this happened to be a multi-speaker recording of a meeting with a client or a patient or a whatever, I can pick however many speakers, but it's just me. So I'm just going to leave it at one speaker and say, okay. Now you'll see in my sent, this is queued for speech recognition. So it's already waiting to go through the speech recognition engine. If I do a quick refresh, it's speech recognition in progress. And when it's done, it will show that it's correction pending, waiting for my default team. Once somebody from my default team, whether I only have one person, 3 people, I keep 5 people busy, doesn't matter. When somebody picks it up, I will get to see exactly who is working on correcting that particular job. Okay, so 2 ways to use speech recognition. Now, if I have the Dragon engine, I can send it back end to and use the Dragon engine versus the Microsoft engine. So I just can't do the front end where I see the text come up if I have the Dragon engine. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you a couple more ways to be able to dictate. So give me a second, and I want this. I'm going to pull this over. Okay, so here is my user interface, and I'm logged in as an author. So let's say I'm sitting at my desk and I just want to do a quick draft of text and send it to my assistant. I have at the top here this little area, and I think by default it says upload. So you just need to, click on this little symbol to get your other options, and I'm going to choose speech recognition, and it will remember what you chose last time. So I click on speech recognition, and I can do things like, change the priority. I can put a due date. I can choose a work type. I can put in some comment, like, send a copy to Bob before it goes out, whatever I want to do. But either way, I'm ready to go. I just click in here and hit my microphone. Good afternoon, Common New Paragraph. I'm now dictating directly in the SpeechLive browser application. This allows me to create a first draft of text while I'm at my PC and be able to send this to my assistant so that they can get a first draft of text and listen, correct, format, and finish the document. Period, new paragraph. So there's my first draft of text. I can edit it if I choose to. Right? But ultimately, I'm going to say, send it to my typist. And again, keep a lot of people busy. So I'm going to say, send it to Caroline because she's the fastest. And I'm going to say, okay. Now you'll see that I actually have 3 dictations in my list, all show as correction pending. And my typist is basically just going to open that job, and they will see the transcript right here. They will be able to download the transcript, and it comes in. We'll just do a quick one here. It comes in as a WAV, an RTF file. So there it is. And then they would just use their pop-out player and minimize all of this. Use their foot control, listen to the audio. Yep, that's what Caroline said. Perfect. And then just go back and finish the job. So super, super simple. So to review, I can dictate and watch the text come up in my smartphone. I can dictate and send it to either engine from my smartphone. I can log into the browser and create speech recognition documents there. And then I have one more little bit of magic I'm going to show you. So you remember that I mentioned that you can dictate outside of SpeechLive using the engines that we have. So let me pull this over. Okay, so, okay, for some reason it's not coming over through Teams, but basically it is open. Okay, it's not sharing it somehow with all the multiple things that I have open. It is not letting me pull it over. So ultimately, I can use either application. So I have the little desktop application I showed you earlier that allows you to dictate into any application. So that is just straight speech to text, right? So I can dictate into my emails. I can dictate anywhere I can put my cursor. What I have right here is the Dragon bar. So this is, if you decide to integrate Dragon, this is the little application that you would use to create your text anywhere you can put your cursor. And you can see at a glance really quick. I can create, create auto text and commands, manage vocabulary, and so on and so forth. And I happen to have a command that I've created. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through that real quick. Wake up, draft a letter. So here is my, whoops, I don't want to put that there. So here is my template, and you'll see that anywhere I have square brackets, I can actually put text. Wake up, next field, Jones, Jones, and Smith. Next field, 247 Brown Street. Next field, Atlanta. Next field, Georgia. Next field, 30313. Stretch that. Next field, 30313. Next field, Mr. Smith. Next field, May 28th, 2025. Next field, good afternoon, comma new paragraph. Pleasure meeting with you, period. New paragraph. Please find attached the latest version of the agreement, period. I believe everything is correct as per our meeting with the client on Tuesday, period, new paragraph. If there are no other changes required, I will have Cynthia send it to the client on Tuesday, period, new paragraph. New paragraph. By the way, comma, are you free for lunch on Friday? Question mark. New line. New line. Signature. Go to sleep. So here's my letter, and I can actually edit using my voice with Dragon. So let's say, you know what, I'm not free for lunch on Friday. I need to change that. Wake up, select Friday, Thursday. Select pleasure, underline that. Go to sleep. So I can edit using my voice to change what I've said, to underline, bold, format, all of those kinds of things. So those are kind of the fancy features that are available with Dragon versus the basic speech to text capability with the Philips app. Although, as I said, the Philips app does allow for some special features, and that being the AI. So let me just bring that back. Let's say I have a dictation here that I've sent that I want to use the AI features. I'm just going to click on it. And you'll see that I have the option to send to SpeechLive AI. Okay, and this is in everybody's account. It's part of your 200 trial minutes. So if I click SpeechLive AI, I have some options. I can say, you know what, this person never puts any punctuation, so I want to send it to Smart Transcript to automatically put in the punctuation. I could say, you know what, this is a meeting, and I want a breakdown of all the tasks and action items. And by the way, it's multi-speaker. Or I can say, you know what, I just want a quick summary. And these are all going to be an interpretation of what was said. If I want a total, transcript word for word, I'm going to pick the multi-speaker transcript. Okay, and the author can do this in the browser as well as the typist. Okay, so I think that is basically all the features. So we talked about the AI features available. We've talked about all the ways to use speech recognition, and we've talked about using speech recognition outside of the SpeechLive workflow to save time in creating your documents. So I believe that kind of brings us to the end of our show. And so I'm going to go ahead and just thank everybody for joining. And please, for questions, contact your authorized Philips reseller.